Over the weekend, the Texas House, by an overwhelming vote of 121 to 23, impeached the state's GOP Attorney General Ken Paxton on Saturday on various charges of bribery, corruption, and overall abuse of his office. That's a body made up of 85 Republicans and 64 Democrats. Paxton has now been removed from office pending the outcome of a trial in the state Senate. Now, it will take 9 out of 19 Republicans in the 31-member Senate, assuming all 12 Democrats vote to convict. After nearly 3/4 of the state's House Republicans voted to impeach this weekend, anything now seems possible. And to throw another wrench into this already crazy story, Paxton's own wife, Angela Paxton, is one of the state senators. And her husband is facing bribery charges alleging that he helped get a job for his mistress, a mistress who happens to work in another senator's office. State law is murky about whether she can participate in the vote. A total of 65 of the 85 Republicans in the Texas State House voted to impeach Saturday, following a 20-article impeachment which accuses Paxton of breaking numerous state laws to help a key donor, a real estate developer named Nate Paul. They say that Paxton ignored warnings from his subordinates about his dealings with the donor, even helped his mistress get the job. Among the most serious charges leveled against Paxton, 7 of the impeachment articles charge the AG with disregard of official duty. 3 articles accuse him of making false statements on public records. 2 articles say that he obstructed justice, and 2 accuse him of constitutional bribery. Andrew Murr, the Republican chair of the committee which drafted the articles of impeachment, laid out the case against Paxton in stark terms.
The evidence is substantial. It is alarming and unnerving. We will not tolerate corruption, bribery, abuse of office, retaliation, and all the related charges that have been presented to you.
And again, this is a Republican representative talking about a leader of his own party. Now, the Attorney General has denounced the impeachment in a statement after the vote came down. Saturday, Paxton said, quote, "The ugly spectacle in the Texas House today confirmed the outrageous impeachment plot against me was never meant to be fair or just. It was just a politically motivated sham from the beginning." But now, on top of all the prior allegations, Republicans are claiming that Paxton is embarking on a behind-the-scenes intimidation campaign. In a shocking moment, during Saturday's proceeding, Texas House Republican Charlie Guerin accused Paxton of calling several of his colleagues and making threats against their political futures.
That several members of this House, while on the floor of this House doing the state business, received telephone calls from General Paxton personally, threatening them with political consequences in their next election.
The Attorney General's most famous backer has been much more open about the prospect of retribution. Former President Donald Trump vowing to fight Texas Republicans who voted to impeach. The former president saying over the weekend, hopefully Republicans in the Texas House will agree. This is a very unfair process that should not be allowed to happen or proceed. I will fight you if it does. Trump also went after the state's Republican governor, Greg Abbott, for not standing behind the AG. Missing in action. Where is the governor of Texas on his Attorney General's impeachment? So it's tough to get a read on where Texas Republican senators stand because so few of them have commented. So let's bring in an expert on Texas state politics, Mark Jones, political science fellow at the Baker Institute at Rice University. He's published a widely consulted analysis of the Texas Senate for more than a decade. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. All right, so lay it out for us. What do you think? Could the Senate actually vote to convict?
That's a real possibility. What we need to see happen for that to occur is either 8 or 9 Republicans joining with the 12 Democrats to vote for impeachment. It would be 8 if Attorney General Paxton's wife, Angela Paxton, recuses herself. It would be 9 if she does not. It's right now, it's up in the air. Clearly, the evidence is crystal clear that he committed acts that most would consider to be illegal and unethical. The question is, when Republican senators look at on one side, the evidence, and on the other side, the Republican primary electorate, which just a year ago at the level of 68% voted for Paxton, are they going to side with the evidence, or are they going to side with the primary voters, the activists, and key leaders like Donald Trump and Senator Ted Cruz?
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.